Hey guys, how's it going? Jacob here. Today I'm giving you a video pretty similar to one of my previous ones. Previously I did my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Now I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to give you my top 10 least favorite Pokemon. It could be basic reasons of just like how it looks, how it is competitively, just how obnoxious it is, how often I've had to put up with it. Just in general, over the years, why these Pokemon have become some of my least favorite. So don't get upset. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I am a firm believer in that. If you disagree, then go ahead. Just don't hate me for it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So number one on the list is what's going to be a very common one. It is going to be Pelipper. I have just not been a fan of this thing. It has been so annoying. There are just so many things I don't like about it. It literally looks like a toilet. I actually found a shiny Pelipper once. I caught it because it's a shiny, but I nicknamed it Toilet, and I do not intend to use it. And I remember when the demo came out for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I just kept hearing its cry over and over again. It started to drive me crazy. And there are just so many times I've had to fight it. It's just so annoying. It is so difficult to deal with. I understand that it has some competitive viability. That's cool. If you want to use it, go ahead. But I don't intend to use it because I just do not care for it. I would say that it is actually my least favorite Pokemon of all time. Out of all 800 some, it is just the one I do not care for at all. I'm sorry if you like it, but I do not. Number two on the list is going to be Zigzagoon, and I honestly just do not care for it because it's just one of those early Pokemon that you find, kind of like how you find Rattata very early, but Rattata didn't make it to the list just because of the nostalgia factor, I guess. And I was between either Zigzagoon or Poochyena, and I thought, okay, Mightyena always looks kind of cool after it evolves from Poochyena, whereas Zigzagoon becomes Linoon, and I just don't think that either of them look that cool. And just everyone talks about how much they hate getting a Zigzagoon. I remember whenever Wonder Trading was still a lot bigger, and everyone and their mother just kept getting Zigzagoon, and it was the most annoying thing. If you sent out Zigzagoon in Wonder Trades, you were considered a very terrible person, and I was the recipient of so many Zigzagoon, and it was just terrible. And I remember someone sent me a shiny Zigzagoon, but it was already level 100, so I couldn't even evolve it and enjoy it. So I just felt so mad, and I have just never really grown to care for Zigzagoon that much. I think that its design is okay. I've just had to deal with it so much, and it just has very little viability behind it. Oh well. Number three on the list is going to be Patrat, which in very similar ways to Zigzagoon, I just don't like it because of the fact that it's one of those very early normal types and it just doesn't have much viability. Normal types are known for being able to have such move diversity, but because it's such an early Pokemon, it just lacks that so much, and its evolution does not improve much at all. I remember when I first saw Patrat in Black and White, I thought, man, this thing is kind of ugly, and Watchog, I just thought, man, this thing is really ugly. You would not catch me using one of those things. If I got it in a Let's Play, I would put that thing in the PC so fast. I have just not been a fan of it. There's just not much behind it, nothing that really sticks out. It's just one of those things that you have to put up with for like the first gym, and then you can put it in the PC because you found something better. So, not a big fan of Patrat. It definitely deserves to make the list. Sorry, buddy. Number four on the list is going to be Woobat. And honestly, I know that everyone finds Zubat really annoying, but it at least has the privilege of getting to become a Crobat once it grows up, which is pretty good. I know that competitively I like to try to use Crobat, but Woobat I just don't care for. I just think it looks kind of ugly. It's got this big nose, and it's just flying around. And then Swoobat, again, not that cool either. But, you know, I kind of gotta give it the fact that it's at least evolved so it can do something, but Woobat, I'm just not a fan. Whenever I saw it, I was not interested in catching it. I have never really been interested in catching it. When it comes to bat-like Pokemon, I will take a Noivern any day. You will not catch me using a Woobat. It's basically like the whole idea of how people meme about finding so many Zubat in Dark Cave. Well, there are so many caves in Unova where you find Woobat, and it's just not even as much fun because you at least don't meme about it. Like, I'll put up with Zubat just because it's like, oh yeah, it's like you're living the memes that people always make. But with Woobat, there's just nothing fun about it. Number 5, keeping up some of this hate towards Generation 5 Pokemon, which is unintentional, it's just how I ended up ordering it. Number 5 is going to be Basculin. There is just nothing really special about this Pokemon. It's not like a Magikarp becoming a Gyarados. It's not like a Feebas becoming a Milotic. It's just two tiny little fish Pokemon that have nothing significant about them except for the fact that they have two different colors, and there's not even anything different about their colors. I'm not even sure if it represents like their gender or anything. I'm guessing it does because it's red and blue, but still, like, that's nothing really important. It's not like they have different stats or different movesets. It's not even really a different form. It's just like a slight different coloration, and I've just never really cared for it. Seeing it in Unova, it was just annoying. I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm not catching it. I just didn't really care. I just moved on with my life. Honestly, I would take a Magikarp because, like I said, it becomes a Gyarados. Basculin stays Basculin. Number 6, Scatterbug. I just do not care for this thing. I think it looks really ugly. I think that it just looks like it rolled around in a bunch of dirt and it just decided to stay that way. Vivian looks pretty cool. Even Spupa, it's like that thing looks pretty weird, but it's kind of funny to look at. This thing is just annoying. Just walking through Sandalwood Forest and finding a Scatterbug, I've just never been interested. I did not want to catch it. Personally, I don't really care for Vivian, but I always like the fact that it has a wide variety of different appearances. I think that's kind of cool. I could tell that they wanted it to stick out a little bit, but Scatterbug, it just looks ugly. It just does not look like it has any real indication of becoming a Vivian. It just kind of feels like they tried to retcon Caterpie and try to bring in this thing, and I was never interested. Whenever I got it into Wonder Trade, I would immediately send it back out. I did not want to raise it. I know that sounds heartless, but I'm sure someone else would give it a home, but it ain't staying here. Number 7, Bunnelby. I just did not really care for this thing too much. Whenever I'd get it in Wonder Trades, I'd send it back out. I know a lot of these involve Wonder Trades, but that's honestly what just builds up the experience. Diggersby, I know, doesn't look that cool, but it's honestly kind of funny. Just, it's this big rabbit, just big ears, hands on him. But with this, it just looks like a dirty Baneri. Like, it honestly looks like they just said, hey, let's take a Baneri and just change up its coloring a little bit and make its ears more like hands than they already were. Because Baneri's ears were kind of fluffy, but they always kind of functioned in a similar way. I remember one episode in the anime where they showed Bunnelby and Baneri next to each other because they were like falling in love and stuff, all that thing that you like to see. And I was just like, oh my god, they literally look way too similar. That's not cool. So I just didn't really care for it. I remember seeing it in the anime as well. I thought it had a good personality, but I just did not care for it. I just think it looks like something out of a children's book, which in some ways could be good, but in the way that it felt like it was done, it was not that good, really. I just didn't care for it. Number 8, Barboach. I know that this one's kind of out of left field, doesn't really make any sense, and it's like, this was kind of at the point where I was struggling to think about what do I genuinely not like, and it just felt like I had to pick Barboach because it was just irrelevant, really. It didn't really do much. It becomes a Whiscash, which is pretty cool, I guess. Whiscash, you know, being park ground, so it has that electric immunity. And I like Whiscash because I remember one episode where it literally ate a Master Ball. I thought that was pretty funny, the one time you saw a Master Ball and it got eaten. But Barboach, it just feels irrelevant. You never, like, I hardly even make the connection that it evolves into Whiscash because they hardly look alike at all. That doesn't feel like evolution. That feels like just magic. So I just don't care for it. I think that its design is kind of weird. It doesn't really look like anything to me. I've never actually felt like I had to look at it in detail. And I just never really acknowledge it. But when I was looking through the list, I thought, Barboach? Why is that a thing? So I just picked it. So if you like Barboach, sorry about ya. Number 9, Sunkern. This one kind of goes along the same idea of Barboach, where it just doesn't really feel like it serves much of a purpose. Like, I feel like Whiscash is more well known than Sunflora, so by that logic, that means that Sunkern is probably just as known, or maybe even less known than Barboach. and I just don't really care for it. I remember in Pokemon Go, I somehow managed to finally evolve a Sunkern into a Sunflora, but it was annoying because it hurt me inside every time I had to catch one. I just knew I had a Sunstone and I said, screw it, I'll just try to evolve it. But it was just annoying. It just looks kind of weird. Those black eyes make it look like it's possessed or something. And it's just kind of creepy. Sunflora is all right. It's not that cool, but I remember seeing this one giant Sunflora, and they're like, "Oh, that thing looks like it's on steroids." But Sunkern, it's just pretty irrelevant to me. It's something that I think Gen 2 could have been without. I think Sunflora could have stood on its own. Number 10, Tentacruel. My bad, Tentacool. Sorry, that wasn't very cool of me to mess that up. But I just have not really cared for Tentacool. Tentacruel, I'm fine with, but Tentacool, I just am not really down with it. There were just so many. I remember when I played through Pokemon Crystal recently, and I was going through the waters from Alvine to Cianwood. I encountered way too many Tentacool. It got so annoying. That honestly helped fuel this. And I don't even have that much of a problem with it. That's just the main motivator. Because I had to find a 10th one to say that I didn't like. And, you know, Tentacruel, I'm fine with that. I think it looks cool. But Tentacool, it just looks way too basic. And there's just not much about it. Obviously, it's not going to be that useful. It's not much of a wall. And frankly, I just think that Tentacruel looks a lot cooler. Tentacool, more like Tentalame. Alright, well that's all I have to say for my top 10 least favorite Pokemon. Again, some of it was just, they were Pokemon that were just out of the blue. I just picked them because they're Pokemon I don't even think about. It's not even that I don't like them, it's just because they're irrelevant and I had to try to fill the list. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that even if I said some Pokemon that you like, that you can understand our differences. And you know what? You can put in your top 10 least favorite Pokemon. Let's see how we compare and contrast. So make sure to hit that like button down below to show some support. Like I said, make sure to comment your list if you feel like doing it. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you can be notified about more uploads to the channel. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.